Good morning. Hi, Cassandra.
Hello.
Hi. You guys are watching Reflect Live podcast with Michelle, and I have Healing Hearts Massage and Wellness, Miss Cassandra. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am doing good. I am doing good. It's been a minute since we've spoken.
Yeah, about a month or two almost.
About a month. Isn't that crazy? Time flies. I'm going to say good morning to our listeners. Ramona already said good morning. Good morning. And I'm going to say, bring your questions. There you go. We'll get some questions going up here. All right. So, my first question for you is can you just share a little bit about your background in massage and the wellness and how you got started?
Well, I kind of got started as a kid. I grew up massaging family members' hands and arms and rubbing their backs a little bit. So when it came time to choose a career, that just seemed like the most natural course for me. Um, I
Who would
didn't
you
succeed
practice
with my
on?
first school. My mother, my grandparents,
Aw.
not so much my sister. We were mean to each other sometimes.
We were
The
mean
first
as
time I
well.
worked on her, we did trigger point on her, and I was a little vicious. I
That
bet
give
she
an
wishes she
example.
could
That is
kick my
so
butt.
funny. I know. Like, what trigger point did you do on her?
I'm pretty sure we did like the upper neck and shoulder areas on her because that's where she's always carried the most tension, and most people do. It's
Uh-huh.
that weight of the world thing. So,
Sure, yeah. And I'm
yeah.
excited. We'll get into that, and we'll do a little practice and a little teach, so you can teach us how to do it. And so you started on your family. Did you just use like regular lotion from your bathroom and say, "Come here, Grandpa, I want to massage your feet" or whatever?
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, fun! I bet he loved that.
Yeah, they almost always did, or at least they gave me
Mhm.
compliments about it, so I felt great.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. So you
but
mentioned
yeah,
that you didn't like your first school.
I did not.
Mhm. Tell us a little bit about
I
that.
was correcting the science teacher on the specifics of anatomy and
Oh my
what the
gosh.
names of certain areas of the brain was called. I'm like, I'm sitting here reading the book, and what you're saying is 1,000 times different than what this says. So just
You're like it's
didn't vibe well with that school.
mm,
Um, so I left them and worked at Walmart for a while, just regular day jobs, and just kept looking for a school. And it came down to two different schools. There was Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, and then there was the National Holistic Institute. And Healing Arts was closer. The National Holistic Institute was in Los Angeles, California,
oh
and I
wow.
wasn't ready to move states yet.
Right.
So
So tell us about your school and why you liked it better.
I liked it better just because the people were different than what I had experienced in, I guess, to say the real world. Outside of school, everybody was very angry and just go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix traffic is terrible. It's,
Mm. Couldn't even
it's
imagine.
literally one of the worst states or one of the worst accident areas in the US, I think, is what I had read a while ago. But yeah, so to step into this school was like going into a different world.
Mm.
Everybody was very nice, they were very helpful. If you even mentioned that you were feeling sore or feeling sick, they would almost jump to help you. And I've
Mm.
just really loved that about them. They
Wow.
were very holistic school,
Mm.
so we didn't focus on just the anatomy. We focused on the mental and the spiritual as
Mm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So meditation at the beginning of every massage class, self-care techniques. I ended up taking a Reiki course kind of on accident. I
Mhm.
took a specialty massage course, and Reiki
What
happened to
is
be a
that?
part of it.
I don't know what that is.
Reiki
What's
is
Reiki?
energy work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's something you don't even have to touch the body. At the beginning of the session, you just kind of talk with your client, see where they're at, what they would like to achieve from that session, whether it was pain relief or if it was just emotionally related. And so you set the intention at the beginning of the session there. And like I said, you don't even have to touch the body necessarily. Like you can just hover your hands over the third eye. You can have your hands over the shoulders, focusing on relaxing that and
Mhm.
getting the energy to flow. Make sure your client not crossing their feet and blocking energy. I even do that
Uh-huh.
with massage now. I'm like, don't cross your feet. You're gonna block the energy flow there. So yeah.
Now, if people cross their feet or even their legs, does that like in general, like at work in general, does that hurt? Does that like the way somebody sits, does that give tension in your body?
Yes, absolutely. Like
It
getting
does.
up and down constantly throughout our day. Like I've worked a desk job before and I actually ended up at more pain towards the end of that job than what I had going
Mm.
into it from massage therapy.
Hmm.
And so
Is it just
everything in
from
our
sitting
daily
all day?
lives affects what we do. Sitting all day, getting up and down, going, setting up events. We were doing drapery at locations. There was a lot to that job. And
Wow.
so I ended up very sore and didn't really take very good care of myself. I preached to
Mm.
everybody massage monthly and then didn't do
Mm.
it.
Now you
So
just said massage monthly. Why is that important?
because regular maintenance on the body itself is important. It's going to help with your blood flow. It's going to help teach your muscles how to relax again. And we really do, in this day and age, need to retrain our muscles on how to relax and not stay in that tense fight or flight state.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely recommend monthly maintenance there. And if you can't do monthly, sometimes like even just skipping a month helps. So
Gotcha. And then if we were looking at doing monthly, is there certain parts of the body that you would focus on?
it really depends on the person. So if you're
Okay.
having a lot of low back pain, typically I'm going to focus more on that low back, the glutes, and the hamstrings, and also on the front of the hips as well, because most people sit a good almost 50% of their day, I would think. And so those hip muscles, those hip flexors and extensors are getting pulled and shortened whichever way. And so just working into that hip really helps, and especially getting some psoas work.
What'd you say?
I
Psoas?
said especially, yeah, psoas muscle. It's one of those muscles that actually is it goes from the front all the way into the back.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
that
It's
what else would it be called that like a regular person like myself would recognize it? So like sciatic nerve, like you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
the
different?
psoas muscle doesn't really have a different name. It's literally
Yeah.
just called the psoas. The
Okay.
muscle that's typically pinching that sciatic nerve is usually the piriformis, and it's one of those muscles that runs from the sacrum into the hip joint. And so when it gets pulled or shortened too much, it starts to pinch that nerve and
Mm,
cause the issues.
I gotcha. What types of massage do you specialize in?
So I specialize in relaxation deep tissue.
Okay.
I like to slowly work the muscles so that they can let go and not feel forced. And so my client is not tensing up as I'm working on them. If I notice that my client is tensing up, I'll actually back off because I don't want, I won't fight your muscles for control there because it's your massage. You're in control. If you want this to be a relaxing thing, it will be. But if you keep on tensing up, like I won't be able to work those muscles and help you get the relief that you need there.
Mm.
Fighting the muscle is 10 times harder than just trying to work both sides or both ends of it to get it to relax naturally.
Mm. Now I know different people like different type of pressure. How do you
Yes.
know the type of pressure is good for that person?
I am almost always talking with my clients. So if I'm not getting any kind of, I guess, response from the muscle itself, I
Mhm.
will talk to my client because there are those people who their muscles don't respond to anything other than deep tissue.
Mm.
Deep pressure, I guess is how
Mhm.
I should correct that because deep tissue and deep pressure are two different things. Deep tissue is getting down into those layers. Deep pressure is literally just about the amount of pressure that you're putting on them.
Mm. Mm.
And so um, I
What about?
do pay very close attention to the muscles. And if I feel like it's letting go, I'll kind of hold it and strip it out a little bit longer.
Mm.
If it doesn't feel like it's letting go, that's definitely when I choose to check in and be like, hey, is this a correct amount of pressure for you?
Gotcha. Because I would assume if it's
And
too
yes,
much,
I do
then that
use
would cause
aromatherapy.
them. Oh, good. That would cause them to tense up, and that's kind of
Yeah,
counterintuitive in what
yeah,
you're trying to do.
yes. However, there's those people with typically fibromyalgia patients,
Yeah.
like
So I was going to ask you about
almost
that. Yeah.
fibromyalgia is really hit or miss. Like it always seems to be the person either wants super light tissue, they just need
Mhm.
that touch and want to relax that way, or they want as deep of pressure as they can possibly get.
Mm. Mhm.
And yeah, they'll be in pain for the next couple of days because of the amount of pressure,
Mhm.
but then they feel better longer,
Mm.
or at least
Do
that's what
you
they've told me.
do you have a lot of patients that have that problem?
I have a couple. I wouldn't
Hmm.
say a lot, about two
Hmm.
or three.
Hmm.
So
I was wondering if that would
most
help,
it does. It
if
does.
massage would help.
Hmm.
And
And actually, there's certain aromatherapy oils that will help with it too.
yes, I was getting ready to do that. So Ramona mentioned that. So talk about your oils and the stuff that you make as well.
Right. So I am a certified aromatherapist. That was one of the courses in Sweha that I was very intent on taking. Um, I can make any kind of essential oil blend. I can do sugar scrubs, salt scrubs. I've done roll-ons, done inhalants just to kind of give a person a boost throughout the day. I had a friend who had multiple sclerosis, and we started using frankincense oil with her.
Mm.
And after a while of using it, she was actually able to stand back up out of her wheelchair for a little bit, not for very long periods of
Hmm.
time, but she was able to get more movement after massage and aromatherapy oil use. And yeah,
Wow, neat. And then what about your scrubs? Didn't you
my
say that
scrubs I
you're working
make.
on making? Yeah, I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah, the scrubs I typically make during session. I like them to be fresh and I like the oils to not be dissipated for the most part. So I like to drop those in there freshly as well. I've done peppermint oil on people's feet to just kind of give them a pep through that day because the peppermint
Mm.
oil really opens up everything and helps get some blood flowing.
Mm.
Feels good.
Neat.
It's very cooling. If you don't like cold on your feet, I don't recommend. So I am making, or in the process of making some sugar scrubs and salt scrubs for Valentine's Day.
Mm.
And I'm still trying to figure out what sort of scents I would like to put in them. Because as much as I would love to use rose essential oil, that oil is very expensive.
Mm. Gotcha. And how do you make? I'm thinking about the scrubs at just random establishments. They have them in the restroom, and they have the hand scrub. So is it similar to that, or if you want to go deeper into what your oils and your scrubs consist of?
So my ingredients are very simple. I just use coconut oil and sugar to make
Okay,
it.
nice.
I do like to use the I'm drawing a blank here. The not so processed coconut
Okay.
on for my scrubs just because
Uh-huh.
it's creamier
Mm,
and I feel like it's a lot gentler, especially if your skin is starting to
mhm,
thin out because we age, our skin
mhm,
thins as we age, and it's not so comfortable using just a bare, let's just say, avocado oil and salt on
mhm,
your skin because it's very abrasive. And
mm.
so sugar is
Coconut's very good for
softer.
your skin. I
It
love
is, and
using
that's why
coconut
it's one of
oil.
my favorites.
Mm,
I do use other oils for people who are allergic because I do have a couple of friends who are allergic to coconut oil, and
mhm,
so grapeseed oil works great. Avocado oil, I can actually even just use kitchen olive oil, which I prefer over the cosmetic olive oil because it's
mm,
cleaner. And
mm.
so,
Interesting.
yeah.
And Ramona says oils for the face for facials.
So I actually don't do facials. As a
Okay.
massage therapist, I never took the aesthetics classes. I do
Mhm.
work with a lady who she does facials, and she would probably be a better person to answer
Mhm.
those kind of questions.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you tailor to.
Mm, I really have a wide range of what I tailor to, honestly.
Mhm.
Like in the special touch course, which was also where I took the Reiki courses, was included infant touch, prenatal, elder touch, and yeah, the energy work. And so I can teach you to massage your baby, or I can massage the baby for you just to
Mm,
kind of help them feel better, help
mhm,
their digestive systems flow a little bit better because
mhm,
we all know babies kind of get a little bit backed up sometimes and
mhm, mhm.
can use some little stretches here and a little belly
Oh.
rubbing to get the
Yeah, I was going
colon
to
and
ask you
everything.
what do you do for infants?
So infants, I typically will do like a 15 to 30-minute massage, depending on what they allow. And I do ask the baby's permission before actually working on them. And no, they don't give a response, but if they're sitting there pulling away from me as I'm trying to touch them, obviously that baby is not wanting that attention. And so I'll either move to another area or see if mom wants to do it and the baby may be more receptive to that.
Gotcha. Okay, neat. And then also elderly. You said that you work on the
Yes.
elderly. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I've actually gone into a couple of different retirement homes. I used to go to one out in Arizona like every 2 weeks, and uh, the residents there would sign up during the 2 weeks that I was gone for certain time slots. If they wanted just 30 minutes, they'd just pick one. If they wanted an hour, they'd take two. Um, and so I would go in, they'd have a room that I could just move some of the furniture aside and set up in there, could lock the door, that we had
Mm,
privacy, and then just help the client in whatever way they need it most. A lot of the times it's head, neck, and shoulders because
mhm,
as we're getting older, the gravitational pull starts pulling us down.
mm,
And so helping to work all of the chest, neck, and shoulders will help them find a little bit of relief. We
mhm,
do have to be more gentle when working with the elderly because
mhm,
their skin is thinner. It is easier to tear, and you don't want to pull on them for that reason.
mm. Gotcha. And so, since we're talking about the neck, head, neck, can we go ahead and do an exercise that we can, if people are having tension right now, that would might help them release?
Yeah. So one of my favorite things to do is just kind of start at the base of the neck here, at the start of
Mm-hmm.
the shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and just press to whatever is comfortable to you. You'll notice what's tensing
Mm-hmm.
you up, and just kind of rub circles
Okay.
and going down the back of the neck, and just kind of
Okay.
finger walking it down the back of
Okay.
the neck. Like I'm already getting a little bit of chills on
Mm-hmm.
my leg. Like I need to go get myself a massage.
Mm-hmm. So when you
And then
said
you
that, so
kind of,
we're dealing with the neck, but you're feeling chills on your legs. Why is that?
because everything in the body is connected, just because you're feeling the pain in your neck and shoulders
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that it's not coming from like your hips or even your knee,
Oh,
because everything starts from the feet and going up. And
I
so
got you.
if you want to just hook your fingers and your rhomboids there in between the scapula and the vertebrae and just kind of slowly drag up while leaning your neck back.
That feels good.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you can just kind of grab, continue trying to
Uh-huh.
think of what I'm doing here. Kind of grab the traps there, dragging forward as you do.
Uh-huh.
And you can even walk your fingers up into the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And so, right at the base of the skull is where a lot of people experience a lot of tension, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that comes from the head going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Your skull weighs about 10, 15 pounds on its
Wow.
own.
That's why
If
I'm
you
overweight. Just take the head
No,
off.
that brain is just so big, you work so hard.
Right. That's right.
So every inch that your chin goes forward and you lean forward
Uh-huh.
actually adds an extra 10 pounds. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is part of why our skull, the base of the skull right there,
Mm-hmm.
is almost always so tender and hurting because
Mm-hmm.
we're adding weight by leaning forward that way. And so leaning back and stretching these front neck muscles while you're doing that can kind of
Mm-hmm.
help counteract that.
I see. Now, is there a certain way that you should move your neck around that you won't hurt yourself?
You only want to go until you feel that pull. Once you
Okay.
feel it pulling, like that's enough. You don't need
Okay.
to extend that more. I would definitely recommend going to a physical therapist if you are looking to get more of a stretch out of that. Just
Mm-hmm.
consulting a professional will help prevent muscle tears and muscle strains that
Mm-hmm.
we're not looking for. We literally just want to go to that. We feel the pull, and
Mm-hmm.
that's good enough. And you can just kind of follow that around.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll feel your neck popping, and a lot of that is the lactic acid buildup there. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to move more, move
Need to
more,
move
and
more.
massage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was a big thing on social, whether it was TikTok or whatever, that they were, people were just doing stuff on their face, around their face, and
Mm-hmm.
what is that? What does that do?
So just that is Tapotment, and it's just really
Okay.
relaxing. And then there's also face reflexology. So certain
Mhm.
points of the face is actually a map of the body. So when you notice that you're getting really bad acne
Mhm.
around like the chin and all of that, that's typically hormonal problems.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so this area is like the map of your hormones. They
Like
even
your chin
have
area? Your chin
uh-huh.
area? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so same thing with your feet. Like there's reflexology of the feet, hands, and ears.
Mm.
I am not a reflexologist.
Mhm.
I haven't pursued that path yet,
Mhm.
but I do know bits and pieces of the reflexology. And so, like, through here is going to be your sinuses. So, all of
Okay.
this will kind of help break up some of what's blocking your sinus cavities. I
Yeah.
can't think. And then up here as well. So, there's actually a couple of sinus points right in the orbital
Mm-hmm.
there, and you can feel that little indent. It's an
Yeah, I do.
interesting thing
Mm-hmm.
when you feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all of that will just kind of help clear your sinuses out, especially during allergy season.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it right, you can kind of break some of that up in the back of the neck as well, because it
Hmm.
all just drains down.
Just drains down. Neat. Well, we have about 5 minutes left, so I want to. Is there a memorable story that you can share with us that you made a difference in somebody's life?
I mean, there's been several of them recently. I typically will get those last minute calls of, hey, I'm really hurting really bad and I can't get this to move. And come
Mhm.
in, get the massage. Like migraine clients, I've had a couple of those where they've stopped having migraines quite as bad or entirely. So those are the stories that I like to hear.
Yeah,
Actually had a
absolutely.
lady recently who, instead of working the back, we worked the chest all throughout because
Mhm.
she was just hurting really bad in her back, neck, and shoulders, and she hasn't been in quite as much pain. So
Hmm. And never typically you don't think about working the chest. It's always been like the back or the neck. So that's an interesting
the chest
perspective.
is a very important area. It really is. And
Why is that?
so because we tend to hunch forward, our necks
Mm.
and chins go forward. So all of this starts shortening and staying
Oh.
contracted. So if you help to lengthen these muscles, it'll
Mhm.
help shorten the back muscles so that everything's not getting pulled out of place.
Interesting. Gotcha. That's really, and then, so we wanted to know, do you do house call? Ramona just said, where's your business located? So at the few minutes that we have left, so I'd like to do your location. If you make house calls, your hours, any Valentine special or anything that you have going on. And I'm going to put
So
this banner up um, so people can know what you have. There you go.
So I am located in Springfield. I'm
Uh-huh.
off of Fremont and Primrose, basically in the Bradford Parkway Road. It's called 1426 Office Suites, and I'm in there in the very back. I do house calls, and I don't charge extra for those than what I would for an in office appointment because I want people to be able to afford to take care of themselves, even if they can't leave the house.
Mhm.
I recently had a lady who she very recently lost her daughter. And so leaving
Mm.
the house was not something that she was ready to do. And I
Mhm.
told her that's fine. We can definitely just go to your house and be in your safe space so that you can relax better and
That's
hopefully
great.
let go of some of that pain that's going
Mhm.
on. And so
So which one do you prefer, house calls, or do you prefer them come into
I
the office?
prefer in-office appointments
Mhm.
because, like almost everybody, I'm more comfortable in my own space.
Oh, sure.
But I also understand, like, they want to be comfortable in their
Mhm.
space. So I like to be flexible with that.
Well, it's
As
nice that you are
far
flexible.
as yes. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm appointment only. I don't do walk-ins.
Okay.
It's hard to accept walk-ins when you're an hour away at somebody else's house who can't leave. So,
It's true. Yeah.
yeah.
Any specials that you have going on for the Valentine's?
I have the buy one get one gift certificates, and I typically do them for $35 or $50. And the reason
Mhm.
for that is the $35 will get you another $35 gift certificate. That covers the cost of the whole 1 hour massage. Same
Mm.
thing with the $50 gift certificate. When you buy one, you're getting another $50 gift certificate, and that covers an hour and a half massage. On
Nice.
top of that, I've partnered up with Lucinda from a New You Women's Clinic, and we are doing a massage and facial special.
Okay.
So you'll get an hour massage and a 30-minute hydrofacial.
Oh, that
And
sounds
that's
great.
145.
145 for both. And
Mhm.
then, everybody that is listening or watching, go ahead and tell them what your website is. I did put it in the chat.
My website is www.healingheartslmt.com.
Perfect. And then what about your Facebook page?
If I remember, it's still the at cassiestravelingtherapy.com. At Cassie's Traveling Therapy. I wanted to keep that in there so people would know I still traveled.
Perfect. Okay, we're at 10:30. So at the end of the hour, or end of the segment, I guess I should say, I always leave the floor to have a bit of words of wisdom. So what words of wisdom can you leave for our listeners?
Oh, words of wisdoms. Your body is the one thing that you will have your entire life. Take care of it.
Ooh, very good. Very good. Julie said she has to go, but so thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and thank you guys for joining us.
Absolutely. And go visit her, go visit the website. Her phone number is on Facebook. It's on her website. The discount code is Michelle. So make sure that you mention Michelle. And thank you so much. Good luck to you. And just very much, I don't know, much success, I guess I should say.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.